So, I've had a few people here ask me lately about building vinyl kits in the comments, especially some people newer to the hobby. And so, I've shown quite a few vinyl videos over the past few years, especially here lately. And I figured, well, let's go ahead and build one because, I've already got some and I need to get to building this stuff anyways. I ain't getting no younger. So, I'm going to build the Screamin Crypt Keeper. Let's go and see what kind of trouble we can get into. All right, so first we're going to go over the things you need for sure. You need a hairdryer. You need your model kit. We may need some glue in this video. I don't know how far we're going to get on this episode. And this right here, I mean, you don't need this exact thing, but I've had this since I started. And they don't give me nothing for saying this, but this is like a shipbuilder's kit from Micromark. And it comes with everything. A little miter box thing with saw, a bunch of different blades. I prefer to use a round blade on something like this. Some tweezers, some little needle nose pliers, and just a bunch of different blades and a sanding block and like a little wooden sanding block. So it's got a lot of stuff in it for a beginner to get all at once. And they may still make them. I don't know. Like I said, this was like 5 years ago. So Micromark, you can check them out. So first things first, if you ain't ever did this before, get out your directions. My directions say stop, read this before you even start. So do that. Need a hair dryer, or you can use warm water, not hot boiling water. I prefer to do it with a blow dryer. Hobby knife, always cut away from yourself, safety, and super glue. Now over here, it tells you right off the giddy up. You read the directions. It's got a little blotched message there, and it tells you these are the parts we're going to be cutting away. That's why I moved the body out of the way, because we're not even going to be cutting on him. So if you go ahead and look, most kits make it obvious. You can see the line right there, basically where to cut. I'm not saying every kit will be that way, but usually wherever your details start to fade out and end, that's where you want to cut. You may want to leave yourself just a little extra and you're able to trim back, because it's always better to have more than have a need of more and not have it. All right, now we're going to get into heating it. I know it seems a little scary maybe if you ain't done it before, because, these kits ain't cheap. But once you get the mindset of, if I screw something up, there ain't nothing I can't fix, that's the mindset you got to go into it with. If you go into it scared, you're always going to just be second guessing everything. Get into it. Notice I'm squeezing it to see if it's getting any softer. Definitely getting hotter. Sometimes it don't take much. So you got a little hole there, blow some air in there, get it on the inside, warmed up. Make sure you rotate it. There's probably hair dryers that get hotter than mine. All right, let's see what we're working with. Get a little bit back from our line, like I said. Give her a push. Make sure we ain't cutting our line anywhere. Voila. So you see we're still a little back from our line there. Let's go ahead and just give her a test fit, even though I know it's going to need more cutting. See how small our hole is. So yeah, we got to trim a little more. All right, so now we're going to go back in and heat this up, trim it a little more. Might just warm it up a little bit and still be easier to trim now that we got the main part sliced off of it. Get it right on our line. Cut there, right on our line there. Try to take a gander at your line as you cut it. You can always knock it down. Oh, he shot off the desk. Straighten that out a little. Try to make sure it's flush this way. Always cut away from you. Don't do like that. So we go ahead and do our test fit again. As you can see, still too big, but first take a gander and look at the length of the forearm. We'll check out the other one here, because the other one ain't got nothing to cut off. So you can see on this side, the robe is almost to his wrist. His forearm probably starts at elbow, like right there. So his forearm's actually pretty short. So this here, probably looking at his elbow where my thumb is. So they gave us a little room to play with, a little extra cut off. So we're going to go ahead and cut that off. Sometimes you got to cut into the details, and that's okay. Just make sure you test everything out first. So I took a pretty good look at it, and you can see, this is hard because I'm doing it backwards, kind of where the wrist starts to get fatter. It kind of stays the same size, and then it starts to widen. So we're going to go up and split that part in half and give her a cut about right there to do the test fit again. But first we're going to heat her up a little. Going to split that difference we talked about just a little bit. About right there. Give her a nice butter cut right through. You can see we got it at a little bit of an angle, so we just try to shave that a little bit off, make it flat, like we said. And there we go. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. I went back and cut this 2 more times from just the time that I just showed you. I'm not going to sit there and show you the same process over and over. You just heat it up, shave off a little more, test fit, and the same process until you get it. You go right here. All right, we see it's a little tight, but the nice thing with vinyl is you can kind of wedge it. And if we got some glue in there, it will hold. So we got that one done. And the same deal with the head. This is big enough you can see the line right there. Right at the base of the details. We'll go ahead and heat that up. Go ahead and just below our line. Nice and soft. Try not to go all the way through on this one. Follow the line. You got to make more than one cut. That's okay. I got this one pretty soft. It heats up rather quickly, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now we got the main part off. You can see right there, we got a little bit of stuff to cut off because it's angled out that way. But we're pretty much close. So we'll go ahead and knock that out. So you can see all I really went in and did was I just made sure that the edges were flat, going, you know, flat straight across instead of angled out or anything. Shaved them off the best I could. Got a little gap right there. Maybe trim a little bit more off of his vein there that got sticking out, even though I followed the line. You know, this stuff's old. It don't mold perfect. And there we go. And to be honest, if I read further into the directions, well, it's funny because they say before you glue the upper torso to the bottom, well, this is all one piece. So the whole idea is to fill this with something so with age it doesn't collapse. Now this one here is a relatively sturdy one, and it's got plenty of base that if you wanted to mount it or glue it to something, you could do it that way. But also we could cut this out. You know, I know a lot of the old guys say don't fill it with plaster because it does this after 20 years. I'm 54. I don't know how old you are. People have also said in the comments, hey, stick nuts and bolts in there and then pour some resin in it. Whatever, you know, however you can weight it down. But if you do that, you're going to have to cut this out, which means you could probably insert this down into the neck hole and it would get rid of your little gap right there. If I do decide to fill this with something and that bothers me that much, I'll roll out a little skinny piece of Aves, stick it on there, and blend it in, sculpt it. Now we're going to move on to our final and I would say most difficult cut. Let's go ahead and heat this up. This old vinyl heats up nicely after all these years. So you got to watch out. You see how once it went in, it goes in quick once you get that initial cut. So I'll probably just take and trace it, come back in and trim it. Because these blades are sharp. And the vinyl doesn't get soft and it can go right through it right into your hand. This side's cold and we're going to heat that up a little. You can come back and get your proper angles when you're trimming. I'm probably breaking every cutting rule in the book. So basically take it as I'm showing you where to cut and how to do it. Just not how to properly handle a blade. Oh yeah, that's butter. Running with our blade up away from us, nice and slow, making sure to keep these fingers out of the way in case of slippage. Going right along that crease right there. And as you can see, we're left with a big hollow book in hand. So I'm going to go ahead and slowly trim this down. I'm not going to make you watch all that. And I'll be back with you in a second. So you can see I went back in, trimmed it pretty much at the angle it needed to be. And it had to be perfect because as you can see how the kit is designed, you measure what you need of the page and they actually are bigger, but you can trim it perfect to the edges of the book, the page like right there. And you take it, glue there, push down in the middle. And the whole thing is you don't have to put anything in there if you don't want to. There's not directions for it. But what I did was I took our leftover piece that cut out of here because I like something a little solid. You know, what if little cousin Billy comes over and goes, oh, that's cool. Is that a real piece of paper? And, you know, stick his finger through it. So I'm thinking maybe I may trim these down a little bit so they fit a little better. Stick a piece of Aves in there for support. But anyways, and then you'll have something to glue them to. And I think I'd like to use both sets on top of each other to make it look like there's more pages in the book. But yeah, there you go. Let's get you guys out of here. And so, yeah, this is an easier one. And to be honest, that's okay. Some of them are way more complex, but I haven't cut into vinyl in a minute, so I didn't feel like cutting a bazillion pieces either. But hopefully, if you needed something out of it, you got it. By the way, most vinyl kits I've seen, you will need to fill them with something. so you can save your scraps, you know, and throw those inside so you're not using as much whatever material you are pouring into it to weigh it down. Once again, nuts and bolts and stuff like that have been suggested. It all depends too on how big your kit is and what you can fit inside of it. And if you're digging these build videos, hey, go ahead and check out the Alien Queen and Bishop start of it if you haven't already. Plan on making multiple episodes or whatever to complete each kit. If you've stuck around this long, hey, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel for free. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you as always. I do have a Patreon, $3 tier over at patreon.com/Boggy Creek Life. It's a simple $3 tier once a month. And what we do is we hang out for 40 minutes or so, or maybe an hour. Last time we did an hour, 20 minutes. And we just, you know, did some, I was working here on Pestilence Pete. We talk about whatever, man. Build, talk about models, techniques, life, whatever comes across the table. If you're not into the social, you know, FaceTime and stuff, I also have locked channel memberships. You can look down in the description. The $3 tier, which is the Bog Dweller. I'll get it down. The Bog Dweller, you get members only polls, emojis, fan badges, and the $4 Skunk Ape tier. You get all that and a member shout out on the video, and you get early access to new videos. So with all that spieling done, oh, one last spiel. I am an Amazon associate. I have to say that. So actually for this video, since I did use some tools and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and put what links in there in the description. And all it is if you decide to go use those links to get something from Amazon, they give me a little moolah in return. All these are really just ways to help the channel out and help keep it going. I try to keep it very simple, very cheap for anybody that wishes to give, but just your time is all I ask. So until next time, be good to each other. Model on. Sit, Rocco, sit. Good dog. Roof.